All right, what is going on, everybody? Welcome to another episode of that AI show. Hope that everyone is doing really well. It's been a couple of weeks since we've done this, but we've been super busy actually setting up something really, really cool. Before we dive into that, I want to say hi to my co-host David White. What's going on, David?
Mate, same as always, just working, frothing about artificial intelligence, all the good stuff.
Yes, sir. Yeah, and that's going to be a good one. So before we dive into it, so if you're not subscribed to whatever it is that you're watching this, please do so. The reason I'm telling you this, and the reason why we've been kind of busy over the past couple of weeks is because we're launching a summit. It's going to be pretty awesome. Now, you need to be subscribed to our list and to our different social media channels in order for you to be I would say notified of it. All right. So subscribe, hit that subscribe buttons, visit us at learnmarketingai.com. And then you can also download our report. So it's learnmarketingai.com slash report. And that will put you into our email list so that you can learn more and know more about the AI marketing sessions. It's going to be pretty awesome. So
There's actually two reasons why you should be subscribed to us. Number one, so we can keep you up to date about what's working now in marketing, and number two, every time you watch a video and you're not subscribed to us, it actually makes a small puppy very upset. They actually cry. So, everyone likes puppies. Don't do that. Just
yeah,
subscribe. You'll make a dog's day, a little puppy's day somewhere. So hit that subscribe button. Dude, super excited for the AI marketing sessions. This is going to be so awesome. Everyone watching, we've been doing this. We've been working behind the scenes on this for like
yeah,
2 months or
it's
something
going to
like
be,
that.
yeah.
14 hours a day. Go register www.theaisessions.com/register. Come check it out.
Nice. We might put a link. We might or might not put a link below this. So it's going to be pretty awesome. So, yeah, with that being said, can you tell us, David, a little bit about what's the topic for today? Because I know that you got an email from one of your clients, I think it was, and that kind of prompt the topic or the idea for today's episode. So what's going on with that?
Yeah, so I'm constantly telling my clients they forget this. Your first language might be the thing that you. What the hell is that? Not sure about
I
that
don't
one.
know, man. I
Your
just clicked on the wrong button. Sorry about that.
your that's even worse. Your
Let's do it.
first
Okay.
language might be like fitness, or your first language might be like, I don't know, finance or investing or what have you. Most people don't think about this sort of stuff anywhere near as much as my clients do. So I got to tell them, you got to make things really understandable for them. And the truth is, most marketers, most business owners don't think about artificial intelligence as much as you and I do. Like, you just did a presentation for the sessions just before we jumped on this call, talking about how much you're using it in your business. And to be honest, I'm shocked at the benefits that you're getting and how deeply you are using it. Not
Mhm.
everyone has been able to pay as much attention or learn the kind of things that we have learned. So what we wanted to do was put together the ultimate beginner's guide to artificial intelligence in digital marketing. So if this is something that you're not fully kind of aware of or haven't had a chance to dive into yet, don't worry, you're still early. We're going to get you up to speed right now.
Yes, sir. It's gonna be pretty awesome. Gonna be pretty awesome. So, all right, should we start? We have some questions here, I think. So we can go through them, and I can ask you, and then I'll give you my pointers on this. So, all right. So the first one is, what is artificial intelligence in your words?
I would say the answer is no one knows for sure, but you know intelligence when you see it.
Uh-huh.
So there are so many different marketing tools that up until a year ago we could look at them and we could say like, that's not intelligent. So you can have, for example, in your email autoresponder system thingy, a thing that says if a lead is subscribed to my webinar, don't send them this email saying go register for my webinar. Like, that's called a boolean. If then, if they're subscribed to the webinar, then don't send them the next webinar registration email. If they've bought this product, then don't send them the next sales email. If they've
Mhm.
clicked on this page, then do X. That's not really intelligence. That's just a kind of mechanism. That's like sending water down a pipe and just diverting it from like, this pipe, that pipe. That's not intelligence. It's very difficult to define intelligence, but once we started getting tools that would mimic the way that a human brain works, so they could create things, they could analyze and come up with, evaluations and suggestions, and they could have unique thoughts. That's where we started to see artificial intelligence. And to be honest, this has really been going on behind the scenes for a really long time, but it's been enterprise level stuff. To do this really well, you need a huge amount of data and information. So,
Mhm.
Google, for example, has all that kind of data and information. So, when I search something like perfect green, if Google knows, like, hey, this guy's always looking at golf clubs and he's watching YouTube videos about how to play golf, I can show him a picture of a perfect green. Whereas someone else who is I don't know, maybe they're looking up medical marijuana, and Google will know that. And if that person searches for perfect green, they'll see something totally different. That's intelligence. Same thing with Facebook's like ad algorithm. It knows stuff about what everyone's doing because it's like the world's biggest pervert. So
Mhm.
that's intelligence, but that was only available at an enterprise level. And with the launch of ChatGPT in November 2022, so we're coming up on its 1 year anniversary. Happy birthday, ChatGPT. This
Huh.
sort of stuff became available to the masses for the very first time. So at the moment, I would say intelligence, artificial intelligence, no one really knows for sure how to define it, but you will know it when you see it.
That's cool. Yeah, I think that that's a way better definition that I might ever come up with. And yeah, it's definitely, we talked a little bit about alignment as well. And I think it has to do with that. It has to do with the possibility of you, based on context, defining an action that will take you to where you want to go. So, for example, right, you mentioned that, oh, my arm is hurting, right? And then you can say, okay, well, let me help you with that. And you can chop my arm off. So that would prevent my arm, or my elbow from keep on hurting, but it doesn't necessarily solve the problem, right? So, with something like ChatGPT, for example, or with artificial intelligence, we're getting closer and closer um, to alignment based on context, right? Based on context, I think that's everything. And I think that the more we start using context, the easier it is for us to get that alignment that we're looking for. And it also help us make things faster, easier, better, etc., etc. So that would
That's
be
a
it.
really good point that you bring up because up until a year ago, someone could have written a little algorithm on an Excel document or something like that that would spit out an ad.
Mhm.
And that ad may be okay, it may not be, but there were no tools like ChatGPT where you could say, add a joke into that ad, or that's
Right.
too boring, make it sound more fun, or the sentences need to be a little bit longer, or something like that. So, yeah, it's interesting that you bring that up, this idea of alignment. Like, there were tools that could generate stuff, but
Mhm.
the alignment was very low. You'd ask for something, you'd get an ad, or you might get a template for a landing page or something like that. But it might have been
Mhm.
what you asked for and not necessarily what you wanted.
Right. Exactly. Exactly. Okay. Cool. So next question is this: why is this such a big thing right now? What do you think? I could answer that
I
while you
yeah.
think.
Let me hear your thoughts.
Okay, so I think the reason why it's such a big thing right now is because there have been some companies, some trailblazing companies that have democratized the use of artificial intelligence, right? Like, for example, as you mentioned earlier, Facebook has been using machine learning and artificial intelligence for a while, right? Like they know who to show your ads to just because of the actions that a person has taken behind the scenes, right? And through the Facebook pixel and whatnot. But now the reality is that we can directly talk to the algorithm and get it to do stuff, right? And it doesn't require millions upon millions of dollars of investing for us to actually do this. So I think that, again, as much as there have been some companies, talking about, or some trailblazers technologies like Bitcoin or Ethereum, and then a whole economy sprouted out of that and a whole economy built upon that. I think that right now, the fact that we are seeing some trailblazing companies that do have the deep, 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 deep pockets that it takes to actually develop true, real artificial intelligence, they're democratizing that. So now the smaller guy or the smaller entrepreneur can build on top of that and create something around it. So I think that not only, we talked about how I set up, for example, an appointment setter today that is based off of ChatGPT, right? And it's based off of interaction. So I can build upon that, which before that I couldn't because I didn't have the deep pockets to actually make it happen. Does that make sense?
It does. So you've mentioned a few use cases there of artificial intelligence. Obviously,
Mhm.
everyone who's watching this will own a different type of business. They'll do a different type of marketing. I think this is such a big thing right now because up until November of last year, you didn't have to do anything if you wanted to build a business. Like go back 100 years ago, you didn't have to do newspaper ads. You could do radio instead. You didn't have to do direct mail. You could go to magazines, or you could do events, or you could do word of mouth, or you could go and hand out pamphlets on the street. 10 years ago, you didn't have to do Facebook ads. You didn't have to do content. You didn't have to do social media. You didn't have to do email. You didn't have to do anything. And you could still build a really good business. And there are so many examples of people who we could name who, like Gary Vaynerchuk, doesn't really do email. I don't even know if he's got an email list. He probably does, but as far as I'm aware, that's not a huge part of his business. Then you've got people like Mr. Beast, who, apart from his Feastables, doesn't actually have a product. And until recently, like Feastables wasn't a thing until recently. And the guy made so much money, didn't have a product. Did not have a product. So you didn't have to do anything, but since artificial intelligence has come along, the way that it has made marketing and the work that marketers do so much faster and so much easier. This is the first time in history, in my opinion, where you have to use artificial intelligence. Right now, you have to use artificial intelligence while you're doing work to get customers and leads and sales, or otherwise you're missing out.
Mhm.
And I actually think the future is going to be reasonably brutal for those who don't kind of lean into using artificial intelligence as much as they can.
Right.
That's
Right.
why I
Makes
think it's a
sense.
big deal.
So, we talk about the AI marketing hub or the Learn Marketing AI community and whatnot, but where a marketer should get started when it comes to learning or starting to use AI. What would you suggest?
Yeah, so the big daddy for us, I don't know if you would still agree with this because it's been a while since you and I spoke about this, but the big daddy for us is ChatGPT.
Yeah.
That's kind of the tool, the software that has the most utility. It's getting more and more plugins put on it every single day. Um, and from everything that we see moving into the future, ChatGPT is going to be like the Apple or the Amazon or the YouTube of the artificial intelligence kind of world. So we would say get yourself a ChatGPT account if you don't already have one and start messing around with it and just kind of begin to learn how does this thing work. And I use the word learn there really intentionally. The way that you ride a bike is by getting on the bike and learning how do the handlebars work. If I pedal faster, does that make me more stable or less stable? How do
Mhm.
I put my foot down? Like, get in there and learn it. You're going to make some mistakes. You're going to see stuff happen that you're like, that's really weird. I don't like that at all. This doesn't make sense to me. How can I ask this in a different way? But go in there with the mindset of trying to learn. And we actually do have a specific formula that we teach in one of our programs called the Digital Marketer's Guide to ChatGPT. But to put it into a nutshell, think about all the stuff that you do over the course of a week with your marketing and kind of mentally label it from like most likely to get a client or a customer all the way down to like job admin stuff. So filling out your timesheet, going to team meetings, writing down your weekly stats, all that sort of stuff is job admin. You're never going to get clients from filling out your timesheet. You're never going to make sales from filling out your timesheet. Don't use ChatGPT for that kind of stuff. Think about the things that you do that are most likely to get you a client. Writing a new piece of content, scheming out a new campaign, split testing a landing page, writing ads, those sorts of things, and then start there. What
Mhm.
is the stuff that you do that's most likely to get you a customer? And then write without giving too much away here, because this conversation could derail and go for like another 2 hours. I would encourage you to try writing a really long prompt, giving the robot as much information as you possibly can, and see how you can sort of tweak that see how you can like mess with the information that you give the robot and the responses that you get back to figure out like, hey, I just asked for something and it gave me an ad or it gave me a variation for my landing page, and this is actually what I want. Going back to your note of alignment earlier,
Mhm.
like I asked for an ad and I got an ad and it was actually pretty well written. So think about things that you can give the robot. In fact, you know what, Hernan, you can kind of give some ideas of context and information that you can give the robot that will help you get better outputs from your prompts. It's probably 3 or 4 things you could probably list off the top of your head, I'm guessing.
You know, so probably something that has to do with context is key when it comes to dealing with these tools, right? So you want to tell the robot who are you, right? Who you serve, who your ideal client is, why your offer matters, and what would be different in your ideal client's life after they interacted with you. You can start there. That's a really like compressed version of what we call the mother prompt. You can start there, but at the end of the day, I appreciate what you said, which is like, if you want to learn how to ride a bike, you need to hop on the bike, right? Yeah, you can be watching tutorials all day long. You could be reading about how to ride a bike. You could be watching videos about how to ride a bike, or like playing a guitar. You could be watching videos about playing a guitar, or you can, reading books. But the way that you learn this thing is by actually sitting out with the instrument, right, and doing the thing, or hopping on the bike. Now, if you want to accelerate that process, then you can always go to Learn Marketing AI and get the Digital Marketer's Guide to ChatGPT, for example. So
I'll tell you a secret. I haven't actually spoken about this before. So you and I taught a copywriting workshop, an AI powered copywriting workshop, like 4 or 5 weeks ago, something like that.
yep, something along
And
those
we
lines.
shared 2 prompts. So prompt 1, prompt 2, and they were like templates for
Mm-hmm.
what we kind of came up with as the 2 different types of copywriting that a marketer can do with artificial intelligence.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll open the kimono here to use my favorite term. The way that
Mm-hmm.
I came up with those prompts and got them to work, or to a place where they will work every single time, was I sat down in front of ChatGPT and I wrote the prompt, and I had like 3 or 4 different businesses. So like I had ours, and then I had a couple of my clients, and I had the prompt template, and I filled in all the information about, here's what we're writing a sales page for this kind of products. We're writing a landing page for this kind of webinar. We're writing an ad for this kind of event or this kind of, lead magnet. And I just did that over and over and over again. And I looked at the prompts and I thought, what do I not like about this? Why do I think that went wrong? Let me modify the prompt, go through this process again. And I spent a whole day sitting down, just going through that kind of stuff, trying to learn how can I ask the robot for a piece of copy in a way that is going to repeatedly get results. And that's basically what it takes. And it sounds like the biggest pain in the butt in the world, but you know what? Now that I've done that, the next time that I need to sit down and write a piece of copy, it's going to take me like 90 seconds.
Yeah.
So if I've saved 3.5 minutes every single time I write copy from now until the end of time, that day was worth it. And I saved you that time as well, because you got to sit in on that workshop and watch me. So it was
Yeah.
double as effective.
Yeah, that makes sense. By the way, these backgrounds, man, are trippy as
I
AF.
actually do like that one. I like
This
that
one, all
one.
right, I'm gonna leave it. I'm gonna leave it. All
Yeah,
right,
they're
cool.
good.
So, how would you like this ties up beautifully with the next question, which is how would you know if you're doing it right? Okay, and I do have a thing to add there. I think that the especially with ChatGPT, the less you need to edit what comes out of ChatGPT, the closer you are from the truth. Now, granted, I said the less you need to edit. Not that you don't need to edit it at all, right? You do need to edit it, but the more the closer you get to that ultimate prompt, then the less of an addition you need to make. Following what David was saying, I've been battling with ChatGPT the entire weekend trying to come up with the right prompts to talk to the person at the right time of the conversation. And they're different prompts, right? They're different prompts because you want to get people in the right step of the conversation. So, but now that I have it, it's really easy to replicate. So the way you get it, is to you help it make less and less mistakes, and you get it closer to that alignment that we were talking about a second ago. So
I'm disappointed that you went first because that's exactly the answer that I was going to come up with. I think you and I are starting to our brains are starting to
We get
synchronize
together.
on
Yeah.
how we use. Yeah. So yes to everything that you just said. I would say number one, if you're doing it right if you put in a prompt and you're surprised and delighted by what you get back. That's a
Mhm.
really good sign that you're doing things right. Number two, and this does speak to something that is spoken about or that has been covered a lot by our guest speakers at the AI marketing sessions, www.theaisessions.com/register, if you haven't gotten your seat yet. And that is, there are two different schools of thought here. We had a lot of speakers who would initiate a conversation with ChatGPT. Maybe they were talking about something like, how do I create a strategy for growing my business? Here are all the things that I've got going on. Give me some ideas. Or
Mhm.
here's what my website looks like and what sort of stuff it says. Let's brainstorm some stuff that we could do to make it look better. I'm not opposed to that. That's the approach that a lot of our speakers took in the sessions. Totally
Mhm.
fine. I'm not saying that doesn't work. My
Mhm.
thinking is if you can give ChatGPT so much information about what it is that you're looking for that it can't possibly get the answer wrong, and then you give it, this specific prompt with all those details and you click enter and ChatGPT spits something out and you're like, dude, that sounds exactly like me. That's really well written. That's exactly the sort of thing that I want to communicate to my audience about blank, whatever you're marketing to them about. I just I wouldn't change, I wouldn't say, fantastic here. I'd say sick. This is sick. This is not fantastic. And this paragraph, I make that a little bit shorter. So I'm just going to put a line break in here. And I wouldn't sign off by saying, have a great day. I'd say XOXO, David White.
Mhm.
But that was a pretty damn good email. So exactly what you just said. The less work that you need to do kind of after you've given ChatGPT your prompt and the less back and forth,
Mhm.
the more effective you're being.
Yep. Agree. Cool. Good one. And why should people care about this?
Two reasons, I think. And I know you have to go in just a second. We got, 3 minutes left?
Mhm. Yeah.
Yeah, I'll be as quick as I can.
Okay.
Two reasons why marketers should care and business owners who employ marketers should care. Number one, artificial intelligence makes you productive. And when I say productive, I mean insanely productive. According to the Boffins at PricewaterhouseCoopers, it'll make the average person 40% more effective, which means that you'll have 2 extra days per week
Mhm.
free
Right.
to work on whatever it is that you want. You actually shared some information earlier this morning in the sessions
Mhm.
about how productive your agency is. You want to share that here?
Yeah, like we basically doubled our potential for revenue, by using stuff like ChatGPT and some other tools. So yeah, otherwise we will be twice as large, if that makes sense. So
Yeah. So 60 people you would need to hire if you weren't using artificial intelligence, but you've got 30, so twice as effective.
correct.
That's
Yeah.
absurd.
Yeah.
The second reason why people should care is
Hmm.
because artificial intelligence makes you a better marketer. If you sit down for an hour to write a sales video or to scheme out a webinar or to optimize your e-commerce product page or to
Hmm.
write a blog or whatever it is, if you use artificial intelligence in that hour that you are working, the thing that
Hmm.
you're going to create and that you're going to come up with at the end of that hour of work is going to be so much better than if you just done it by yourself because, like I said, this is intelligence. I don't know how to define that, but the artificial intelligence plus your intelligence, two brains or two intelligences working on one project, the output is going to be better.
Yep. Totally. Awesome. Anything else? Any parting words or remarks or
Uh,
thoughts?
yeah. This is as quickly as we can in 25 or 30 minutes or so. This
Mhm.
is kind of an overview into what you need to know about artificial intelligence if you're really new to it. The
Mhm.
next step would be come join us at the sessions. We've got 16 guest speakers talking about some of the most amazing things that we've ever heard around how do you use artificial intelligence, how do you get better at using artificial intelligence. So we'll put a link below this video, but the URL is www.theaisessions.com/register. Come join us, check it out. It's going to be absolutely unbelievable.
Love it. All right. Thank you, everybody. We'll see you guys soon.
See you inside the sessions.